I can't with you. Welcome back to the TSF Entertainment Channel. My name is Retro CG, and I'm joined by the First Lady of TSFE. Y'all probably wonder why I'm laughing, but she said something funny right before we started recording, so I'm just trying to shake it off.
I didn't say
Anyway,
anything. I don't know what he's laughing at.
you said something. Anyway, I'm joined by the First Lady of TSFE, Miss Really BTV, in the building.
What's
What's good
up?
with you? What's good?
Nothing much. Chilling.
All right, so we at the end of the road here. We're at the end of the road, and we're
I
gonna go ahead.
know.
We'll go ahead and knock out episode 7, the best man, the final chapters. Things fall apart.
Mm.
Mm.
And
Yeah,
they
we
are
got some.
falling apart.
Yeah, we got some things that we're gonna talk about. I'm gonna go ahead and hit you with the intro, and we'll be back to talk about it. And welcome back. So before we get into the episode breakdown, how you feeling about it?
Oh, I don't know. It goes up and down. This episode left me very confused, and I was very surprised to find out that we only have one more episode because I feel like they opened up a lot of stuff with this last episode. But we'll
So
see.
so that's what I was trying to tell you when I first started watching it. Unfortunately, I binged all of it in one weekend, and you were on a slow burn, so I couldn't talk to you about it. But that's why I felt like there's maybe room for a season 2, because I feel like there's some loose ends that aren't getting tied up. So we'll get into it and we'll talk about it. For me, this episode was a pretty good one, and I'm a little concerned. I'm a little worried about Quentin and Shelby. I'm a little worried. I'm concerned. My
Mm,
favorite couple. I'm feeling like there's some heartbreak headed their way. I hope not. I hope everything be fine with Quentin, but I think what the episode starts off with him in the hospital.
he's in the hospital, and Harper and Robin. What's her name?
Jordan.
Where I get Robin from? Oh, Robin is his wife.
No,
Jordan.
yeah, Robin is Harper's wife.
Yeah. They're the only ones that show up to the hospital because they were actually together when they got the call. Mm-hmm.
And that's how Shelby was looking at him.
Right. Yeah. Well, both of them, Shelby and Quentin, were giving both of them the side eye like, where y'all coming from?
Especially because Jordan looked like she had like some house clothes or like some
Yeah, she definitely had changed out of her clothes from the
party.
party,
Mm-hmm.
but Harper still had his on.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Matter of fact, I remember that now. You're right, because they were looking at her like, "Where were y'all at? Oh, y'all were in Brooklyn. Y'all came from Brooklyn.
Right, right. It was like sound like y'all had a very interesting evening.
Yeah, y'all came straight here. Oh, and is it me or is it the morning after? It feels like it's the morning after, especially based off of their reaction. It almost feels like it's the next day.
Well, by the time he came home, the sun was out. That I remember. I remember when he came home, the sun was out because remember him and Robin and the daughter were up eating breakfast.
Eating
So
breakfast, that's right.
I don't know how late he was out and how long he stayed at the hospital, but
I'm side eyed too. Okay, what's going on, Jordan and Harper? What y'all got going on? Okay.
yeah. And
Uh,
Shelby even says, so like if who was there, like, and they were like, oh well, nobody showed up but us, and we were just reading the reviews, and again, they were doing that, yeah, yeah, we were doing, yeah, that's what we were doing, and like I said, Quentin and Shelby were giving them the side eye, like, okay, um, Quentin had a minor heart attack, and the doctor is like, "Listen, you'll be fine. You just got to kind of lay off for about 6 weeks. Not drink, not smoke, no sex, no exercise." And of course, Shelby was like, "Hold up, rewind. We can't do what?"
Right.
um, but she didn't say like, "Well, this is a chronic thing. Your heart is bad." She was like, "It was very mild. It was like a warning, and now we know to monitor it or what have you." So Quentin is okay. Kind of scared all of us because I just knew Quentin was dead. I just knew Quentin was dead. So
I was a little concerned about him too. Like I said, I think we've said this in previous reviews that things were going so well for them. Out of all the other couples, things were coming together so well for them. Like, okay, I'm waiting for the other shoe to fall. Like, it's going too good.
right, and that's why I felt the same way. I was like, okay, they've been going along really well. Are they gonna make their hiccup a major, major, major situation? I guess.
And that's why I'm still a little bit worried because we've seen in the other marriages, in the other relationships with the rest of the friends, there has been some type of hiccup. Some of them have been more serious than others. But they have, I guess their hiccup would be uh, Quentin's dad. And, I don't know. They never did say what was wrong with his dad. I don't know if he had dementia or early onset Alzheimer's or something like that. But there was some type of medical condition that was going on with the father earlier on, and I thought that was going to be their hiccup. But now I'm kind of leaning towards that. Okay, how does a marriage survive losing a spouse? It's kind of similar to what happened with Lance and Mia. So I'm like, okay, are we going to get a revisit of this? Is what I was looking for. Um, they were while Robin. Oh God! Now you got me calling her Robin. Her name is Jordan.
Sorry.
While Jordan and Harper were walking along and reading the reviews and everything, they had an interesting kind of conversation in regards to Demetrius, which she really didn't want to talk about him. So, is that safe to say that she's done with him?
Well, yeah, they had a whole. Remember, he rolled up on her at work and had coffee and stuff, and she basically told him, our values are different. And he tried to get her whole. Have you looked at your 401k? You're probably investing in prisons, and she was like, yeah, but the difference you're making a choice. Like you know what you're doing. And he tried to give her
Right.
the whole. Well, I'm reinvesting in my community and I'm making them better and I'm hiring good people. But it doesn't change the fact that um you still invested in private prisons.
And not only that, but he was an asshole towards Harper at the review,
A
at the
big
premiere.
asshole.
Yeah, he was an
Mm-hmm.
asshole and kind of almost embarrassed her, if you would, with his behavior towards Harper at the premiere. So I feel like he's done for. Like, don't call me no more, don't text me no more, lose my number, don't come by my house no more. Done.
Yeah, that's basically what she said.
Old Terry Silver getting the boot.
Child. At least this time he was able to live and walk away.
He was able to live and walk away. He didn't get folded
Right.
up in the back of an Infinity. So you're right.
Exactly. Exactly.
And another thing that kind of gives me a little bit concern is just like all the other shows that we watch, we haven't really paid close attention to it with this series, but we do with others. But the title of the show always kind of gives you a prelude to what the episode is going to be about.
Mm-hmm.
Things fall apart. So when I saw the episode title was Things Fall Apart, I'm like, okay, what's getting ready to happen? So there's several things that fell apart in this episode, and I think Demetrius and Jordan's pending potential relationship is one of them. Um, so Harper gets home, and Robin is making breakfast, and he gives a quick update on Quentin's condition or whatever, and then she's instantly starts talking about her uh what is it called, nomadic dining experience that she's been invited to
Something.
cook for in Ghana
Something
with some
like
type
that.
of
Yeah, but
green
it's in
bean.
Ghana. Yeah.
nomadic dining experience for some type of menu experience or whatever she's been invited to cook for. And she's super excited about it, as she should. I mean, it's an opportunity for her to get out there, and she's going to the motherland. She's going to be cooking, and it's from farm to table, and she's so excited. And we learned that it's an opportunity for the whole family to go.
Yeah, and I knew then. I knew then because Harper ain't look all that excited. Because remember when she said we, and he was like, "Wait, whoa," she said we, and she was like, "Yeah, all of us." And he played it off, but I don't think
Mm-hmm.
he was interested in going from the beginning. I think he thought like I think he was supportive of her going, but I don't think he wanted to go. At least that's the
Yeah,
impression.
and it's funny you should say that because I have a similar impression. My impression was he would perfectly been fine with her getting on a plane and going by herself. And he stayed
Exactly.
behind to do his thing. I don't think that he had intentions on packing up and going on with her. So I agree.
Right.
So even though he's excited for her, is exactly what it is. He's excited for her. This is your dream. This is your vision. This is your thing, not mine. And but
Mm-hmm.
it really could have been a win-win for him because while she's cooking and doing the restaurant thing, this could have been a great space and time and opportunity for him to write,
Yeah.
undisturbed and just to sit back and take in some of the ambience. But because things are kind of moving so fast with him with this movie and trying to produce a sequel or a spinoff or
Mm-hmm.
something like that, uh, he's got tunnel vision now. But really, this could have been a good opportunity for him should he have been interested in going.
I agree, and I feel like because again, where there's a will, there's a way. And the one thing she says at the end, not to jump ahead, she said, "I have given you years, and all I asked for was a month." And when she said it like that, I was like, you know what? She's got a point. Like I've been supporting you and your dream our entire career, and yes, he's been supporting her too. That's not what I'm saying, but she's like, I asked you for a month. Like 1 month. I'm not saying let's move here permanently. It's not a 6 month. It's 4 weeks. And you say you have meetings and stuff, but in today's technology post COVID, let's get on a Zoom. You know what I mean? We can do this a million different ways where I don't have to physically be there, so I can be here to support my wife. And she's not, do I agree with everything that Robin has done? No, but in this situation, I don't think she's wrong to say, listen, this was 1 month, and that's all that's what I wanted from you.
Yeah,
I mean, that's like a summer vacation, really.
yeah, it could have been. It
And
definitely
it's
could have
like you
been.
said, it's a once in a lifetime opportunity. Like I don't know.
And probably could
I
have
was just
been
kind
some
of with
good
her on this.
inspiration for him for his book writing. Could have been
Yeah,
some
it
great
could have been.
inspiration for him. Yeah. But it's just that was your thing, not my thing. I ain't want to go. I ain't
Yeah,
go.
yeah, and that's what it really. I really feel like it boiled down to. Like I ain't want to go.
Yep. I ain't want to go. I ain't going.
Right.
Um, all right, so what's going on next?
So down to the school, the kids have found Merch's videos from his MMA. And let me speak for somebody who is in the school and I do YouTube. The kids will find you. I don't know how they found me, but they found me and they will find you. So it ain't hard. Not they don't even have to be looking, but you just never know what people are going to come across. And once one person finds it, that's it.
It's
So they
yeah.
found his videos, and then we also find out that their oldest daughter has been talking about the mom's research without really putting it in the right context. I mean, you can't blame the kid because I don't think the kid meant any harm. But of course, parents hear drugs and experimental, and you're doing your PhD study on weed, and people be like, they just, you know.
Go
Um,
crazy.
and so that's been an issue. And of course, she's still processing what happened to her too. So she's not having a great day. Things aren't going. So she kind of blows up at Merch, blows up at her daughter, and they're kind of like, "What do we do? Like, what happened?" But again, it was just that all of that at one time for her. She's just kind of dealing with it. Um, Quentin is dealing with his new reality. Shelby is suffocating him with good food, and she sold his Cuban cigars, and she's feeding him cauliflower, and she's hired a chef to make vegan, food, and he's just at a point now where he's like, listen, I don't want to live like this. Like, I get it. Yes, we had a scare, and I understand. We were all scared, but I can't live like this. He tried to have sex, and she was checking his pulse, and he was like, "I'm not doing this." And they got into a really bad argument. I don't. I understand what you're saying, that you felt alarmed by it, but I don't. I just feel like it was a bad argument. It ain't going nowhere. Quitting ass ain't going nowhere. That's my
Yeah,
opinion.
and it's really me being a stubborn person that I am and don't really like people to fuss over me much. I understand where he's coming from, but at the same time, you got to look at who it's coming from. It's coming from Shelby. Like, this is not what we expect of Shelby's character, to be nurturing and kind of the home caretaker type person. So it just speaks to how much she loves her husband and their life, and she's just a little scared, and she probably did go a little bit
Exactly. She's
overboard.
scared.
Yeah, she's a little scared, and she's just trying to make sure she does everything she can to ensure that he's more healthier. And sometimes when we know that we need to make a change in our diets and health for health reasons or whatever, we fight that tooth and nail internally. But then
Hmm.
when it comes from others, it becomes a war against you and them. That, okay, yeah, listen, I know I need to make a lifestyle change, but I don't need to be constantly reminded that I need to make a lifestyle change.
Hmm.
So it's a slow burn.
I just want
Um,
the record to reflect that you admitted that you are stubborn. I just need the record to reflect.
Strike that from the record.
Nope, it's this is it's here. I will always know that I can go back to The Best Man, season 1, episode, what is this? Episode 7. And I don't even know what the mark is, but I'll find the minute mark.
Not if I don't upload the video.
I wouldn't recommend that.
Anyway, you're too much. Anyway, Kennedy comes in, and I guess she has like a little fast food burger or something. And Quentin,
Right,
I'll buy you 2 burger bags for a bite of that burger.
right.
Like, oh
And
no,
she was
Mom.
like, no. He said, what are you talking about? Because mama offered me double whatever you were offering me.
Right. So
I
now
said,
you get 4 burger bags.
that's when you know your child. They know their child.
Cash rule everything around me.
Cream get the money.
Right. uh all right, so what's happening next?
Um, then so this whole episode flashes back to the night of the premiere. But I think we already talked about the one flashback where they're reading
Reviews.
the reviews and stuff like that. So we see that after they left the bar, we see Harper and Jordan together. They at the carousel. Um, and then we flash to Lance. We find out Lance is getting his number retired. And he's bragging about the kids who spend up all his money. And I don't know if that conversation triggered. I might have missed something. I don't know if he got an alert on his phone from his credit cards, or that it triggered something, because he was talking about his kids buying all these new clothes. And then next thing you know, we see him. He left abruptly, and he's at the house cleaning out his son's closet. So I don't know if it triggered when he was talking about clothes or what. But he's cleaning out his son's closet. He's taking out all the feminine clothes.
I got a theory on that, but I think we missed the part where Jordan is a gynecologist. I'm assuming, or no,
No,
actually, it
I don't
was
think it was her gynecologist. It was her doctor checking on. So
checking
did
on.
I skip ahead? My bad, because my bad. Okay, go
No,
ahead.
that's
Yeah,
okay. No, she was. It wasn't a gynecologist, but she was at the doctor. She was checking on the migraines and the
yeah.
blindness. Yes, and she also told her asked her when was the last time she had a period, and then she was like, you're most likely pregnant. And she was like, oh no, I just thought it was premenopause or whatever the case may be. Okay. What was surprising to me is her reaction. Of course, it's the common denial, oh, I can't be pregnant. But to me, it seemed like, I don't think that Jordan being Jordan who it is, and we've said this about other things. It's just like her finding out that she was blind. We felt like her reaction wasn't true Jordan. I feel the same way about this whole pregnancy thing. I feel like she should have been adamant, vehemently, no way I can be pregnant. There's no way I can be pregnant. But she seemed to kind of conform to the idea of possibly being pregnant. How? So does this mean that her and Harper actually did do something? Or
Well,
are
we
they
never.
saying that her
Well,
and
in this
Demetrius had done
episode,
something?
well, in this episode, we never get a definitive answer
Right.
about whether her and Harper slept together. But we definitely get the impression that her and Demetrius slept together because when she's talking to Shelby, Shelby says, "So is Demetrius the dad?" And she, I mean, for her, I don't know. I get the impression that they must have slept together. But again, that was after she broke up with Demetrius, and she didn't seem to be too concerned about her baby daddy that she just dismissed him. Like it just, I agree. She just seems to be taking it really in stride. This whole "you might be pregnant" thing. I agree with that. That she's just taking it in stride.
Yeah, so I'm like, okay, is it who's the daddy situation here? Is it gonna be who's the daddy situation here? Like, is it Demetrius? Is it Harper? Who's the pappy?
I don't think it's. She doesn't seem to be concerned, so I
She
don't know.
doesn't. She doesn't seem to be concerned at all, and I find that not genuine. I don't find that to be a genuine reaction for Jordan, for Jordan's character. I'm sorry, but I don't. I find that a little bit unplausible. To me, I feel like she would be not necessarily frantic, but extremely concerned about one, her being pregnant, two, her career, three, who's the father, and all three of those things
Well,
just kind of blow in and out her head, and like it's non-consequential.
we definitely still never got a clear answer.
Yeah, but I kind of feel her though. I mean, you do keep showing up at her place unannounced, with coffee. Like at this point, is it a roofie or something in here? Like, are you gonna try to drag me back and become your sex slave or something? Like, you know what? Stop coming by my place because this is a little uncomfortable. How you even know where I live? Yeah, I'm glad she kind of dismissed him because even though I don't feel like this was written well, and it's probably because it's one of those situations, like I said earlier on, that this was a storyline that we really didn't need. If we was going to give Jordan a love interest, we should have did it with the guy that she met on the island. But this right here, this blast from the past that we have never seen or heard mentioned in any other previous movies or anything like that, they just wrote this storyline in, which I really wish they couldn't have did. Probably because of the actor. I don't too much care for the roles that Terry Silver, I'm going to forever call him that, plays. He usually plays this sideline creep of a type of guy, but I don't know. To me, it's like they really didn't explain well enough for me to say that he's a bad guy because he's invested in private prisons or whatever the case may be. I get the whole premise of why she's upset because of it, but at the end of the day, he's a businessman. And sometimes business ain't always clean. I mean, look what she had to do at the network with the black lady that was hosting the show. She had to ultimately end up firing the lady because she didn't do well with the ratings. She didn't do good with the focus groups or whatever. So I mean, essentially, she's the bad guy for firing a fellow black lady. So sometimes business ain't always cut and dry and clean. Sometimes we have to do things that may not look good to the public eye, but you got to do what's in the best interest of business.
I agree.
Now going back to your thoughts on Lance and this whole notification thing, I do feel like because he mentioned the topic of the kids are buying up clothes like crazy, it leads me to believe that prior to, he had never really paid attention to his credit card statements and what they're buying until here recently. And I think that they're rich. So he probably has a CPA that looks at his books every month or whatever the case may be. So I don't necessarily think that he was the every type of person that would get instant notifications every time there's a transaction that's done on his account. But maybe what it was that so much clothing have been purchased from a female store, and he knew that he was getting ready to take Faith shopping, so he knew that it wasn't her that was doing the shopping. Maybe he kind of put two and two together that this is LJ out here buying up more female clothes. That's the impression that I got. What I thought.
Yeah, honestly, I kind of feel the same way. I'm just kind of like, I don't know what triggered it, but whatever it was, he went home and he cleaned out the baby's closet.
And told the LJ that everything was going to Goodwill or charity, or he was getting ready to donate it and whatever. He was like, "No, these are my things," and he wasn't too thrilled about that. I mean, I don't know. I don't really want to speak too much on that whole situation because this is a very tough situation, and it's a tough situation for him because he's very the macho type of guy, and we see that he is trying to deal with it, but he doesn't know how to deal with it, and he's not seeking any type of support. I don't know if this situation is worthy for counseling. I don't know. I haven't been a parent and has something that affects me to my core in regards to my child. But I just don't know if he was best equipped to deal with the situation. But I do think it's wrong, regardless of what your personal beliefs are. I do think it's wrong for you to go in and basically throw out his things because you don't like the decision that's been made. So I think there's going to be some serious consequences behind throwing out those things.
Well, also the argument that they had was really bad too. I kind of gave Lance kudos last episode about how he was handling it, even though he didn't understand it. And in this episode, he kind of went in a total opposite direction and was kind of like, scorched earth. And I was like, I was giving you kudos about how you handled it, but now you kind of went in the opposite direction, and I kind of had to take it back a little bit. Um, I feel like I feel like Lance, I don't.
Go ahead.
I agree. The way he handled it is going to be some serious repercussions. And honestly, at the end of that argument and the way the son left, I really thought that I kind of thought that the son was going to be like, "I'm out," F you and I'm out of here. I really kind of thought that's where the son was going with it. And again, not to jump ahead, but we do find out later on the son he didn't come home, and he's kind of missing his car. So um, LJ is somewhere, and he didn't come home. And he even said to his father at the end of the argument, "Sometimes I wish," and he was like, "Finish your thought." And he said, "Sometimes I wish it was you instead of mom," and I know that hurt.
And with that comment being made, my mind started racing. My mind started racing about: is this a situation where somebody's going to unalive someone? Is this
Or
situation
themselves.
or
That's
themselves?
the first
Yes.
thing I thought. The first thing I thought was that LJ was going to go unalive himself.
Yep.
That's what I thought. You know, um, and so that's unfortunately that's kind of where that ended. It was a nasty argument, and that's kind of where it ended. Um, what happened next? We kind of all over the, but oh, merch is it no? Kate is working on her paper, and she gets an alert that the professor, the doctor, the guy that assaulted her, he's getting an honorary doctorate. And so she was like, so while I'm dealing with the trauma of what he did to me, he's getting kudos. He's being recognized. And so she starts typing up a letter to the editor, and she's going to expose him.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and while she's typing that, I hope I'm not jumping too far ahead. I feel like I'm jumping
No,
ahead.
go ahead. You're good.
But while she's typing the letter, her daughter's showing her the video of the dad.
Yep.
Oh no, I am going ahead. I am. Rewind, rewind,
You are,
rewind,
but
rewind.
we can go back. We can go back to that because we kind of already touched on it a little bit, but we can go back to Robin and Harper
Can you hear
because
me?
yeah.
Check your mic.
Can you hear
You
me?
sound far away.
Can you hear me?
You sound far away.
What about now?
No, you still. It might be me. I don't know, but you sound far away all of a sudden.
It's weird. I didn't do anything.
Maybe it's me.
Go ahead and keep talking. I'm just gonna switch mics.
Um, what was I talking about? Oh,
What
what
about now?
part were you going to talk about?
What about now? Nothing.
I can hear you, but it's just you sound very far away. But it could be, like I said, it could be me. You know, I'm the one having problems. It could be me. Um, we see
I
another
think you.
throwback.
Yeah, I think he was getting ready to talk about merch in the video in the paper.
Yeah, but we skipped some stuff before I get to there. We see
Yeah.
the throwback of Jordan and Harper. They done made it back to her apartment. Again, it's the throwback from the premiere party. And they're sitting around again, they're talking, and you're like, okay, now we're seeing that they done went from the park. Now they're at her apartment and they're talking and they're reminiscing, and that's always a bad idea when they get to reminiscing on old times. They playing all the throwback music and all that good stuff. Um, and we see they had like these balls with their dreams in them, and she pulls them out. It's like rubber band balls, and they open them up again. They're reading about their dreams and what it like. They're like a vision board kind of thing, like a time capsule, I should say, of their dreams and their thoughts for the future. Again, we just see them connecting. We see them connecting, and then we flash back to Harper and Robin arguing, and him telling her that he keeps moving further and further away from this Africa thing. 1 minute it's um going to Africa, then it's, well, I'm not sure what are the dates, then it's, well, let me check my dates against your dates, and now it's, well, I might be able to come for a couple of days. And she was just like, yeah, I'm not doing this anymore. And she told
Hmm.
him, like, I'm done. And he was like, what do you mean you're done? She was like, I'm done. Like, I can't do this anymore. And that's what I was saying earlier. Like, I asked you for 1 month and you can't even give me that. And it sounds to me very definitive, like, I'm done. I don't want to be in this marriage anymore. Um, and that's when he gets the text message from the guy saying Merch needs us. It's an emergency. And so he runs off. That's when they find out Merch is doing the MMA. At the same time, Candace gets the door to show Candace that he's live, getting ready for his match. Candace takes off to go see what's going on with her man.
Hmm.
Say something now.
Um, why hasn't she told her husband about the doctor yet?
I mean, I can't
I
speak for
feel,
that. I mean, I gave
I
you all the reasons last week, so I don't know. I can't speak. I don't know.
but those were understandable and those were valid reasons right then in that moment. I get it. I get why she probably didn't feel comfortable with telling him that she was still processing. But at this point, she's writing a letter to expose him about what's going on. And she still hasn't had a conversation with her husband about this. That to me, I feel like if this is what you want to do, if you want to expose this creep and you want to put him on blast, it's time for you to sit down and have that conversation with your husband before he reads about this in the paper.
Yeah,
I
I
mean,
agree. I agree. She should have told him, but I mean, they had a whole come to Jesus moment at the end of the episode because he didn't tell her
yeah,
about the MMA. So
that's
they
true.
kind of, I mean, I think they were just, going through what they were going through, didn't want to lay their burdens on each other kind of thing.
I guess. I guess. And the whole MMA thing, I get it, but that's not as serious as someone potentially almost sexually assaulting you. That's kind of high up there on. I need to talk to my husband about this, before some stuff go
To be
left.
honest with
And
you, but to be honest with you, a lot of people hold on to that forever. They never tell anybody.
that's true. Yeah, yeah.
They'll,
Especially when
that's
it's
why
the R
that's the first thing
word
that
that's
people
been
say.
involved.
Say
Yes.
something? Why didn't they tell something? Why did they wait 10 years? A lot of times people hold on for whatever reasons they hold on.
Yeah. You're right. You're
But I mean,
right.
but you're right. If she can write a whole letter exposing him, then yeah, he needs to, she needs to tell him. But like, I agree with you on that.
Yeah, because this can go way left. Way left.
Mm-hmm.
Um Doesn't Lance's daughter try to have a conversation with him too in regards to LJ? Like,
Yeah,
dad? Or does she or is that when she comes and tell him that he can come home?
yeah. She told him he didn't come home.
Okay, okay. I knew she was having a conversation with him, but I couldn't remember what they actually talked about. But yeah, she told him that he didn't come home. And, Lance at first didn't seem to be too overly concerned about it, just probably thought he was upset, blowing off some steam, staying with a friend or whatever the case may be. But later on, he begins to get a little worried about, what could have happened or what has happened.
Yeah. I don't know. You still sound far away, but like I said, it might be me. I don't know.
I don't know. I've changed all my mics and I haven't changed anything with my setup.
Yeah.
So
It, I mean, I can still hear you. You just sound like you're far away from your microphone, but I can still hear you. So it's anyway. Um.
can you hear me now?
So yeah, I can.
Can you
Again,
hear
you
me
just
now?
sound the same. It sounds like your microphone isn't connected.
I've changed to two different mics. Two different mics.
No, I believe you. I believe you. I'm just telling you what it sounds like on my end. But again, I'm the one that's having problems with StreamYard. It's probably me. Um, so Candace shows up, and of course, at first she's afraid, she's scared, and then she gets into it, and she's like,
Mm-hmm.
whip his ass, which is probably not that's not the response that Merch was expecting. He wins the match, and she's actually like happy for him, and his reaction was like fear. It looked like at first, like, oh shit. And then he was, she was like, I'm proud of you. Like, well, why didn't you tell me? And later on that night, when they get home, that's when she tells him about the doctor. And of course, he
Mm-hmm.
ready to go whoop his ass, as should be to be expected. Um, then we get another flashback of Jordan and Harper, and we see that they actually did kiss.
Yeah,
They actually
they
did
did.
kiss.
Yep.
They got the phone call. I'm assuming that was the phone call because he had Jordan's phone, because he had taken Jordan's phone because Demetrius kept calling or whatever. And he had to call when phone when Shelby called. And Shelby was like, Harper, like, what are you doing answering, Jordan's phone? So I'm assuming that was the phone call to let them know that
Yep.
Quentin was in the hospital. But again, all we saw was them kissing. We saw him lowering her zipper on her on her jacket, but that's where that ended. So we don't have a definitive answer about whether they slept together or not.
I think it's one of those situations where, just like in the past and previous situations, they got interrupted
Yeah.
before anything could go further.
And maybe that's why Jordan isn't worried about her being pregnant, because if she didn't sleep with Demetrius and she didn't sleep with Harper, maybe that's why she's not really worried about being pregnant. Because that's
No,
like
maybe
pregnant.
it's the other way around. So you're right. Maybe she's not worried about being pregnant by Harper because she knew they haven't slept together. But for sure, she slept with Demetrius, I feel like, New Year's Eve. When she invited him to stay the night, I feel like they...
Yeah, that is true. Yeah, that's true. That's true. Yeah.
Yeah. So I feel like, if anything, she's got a peace of mind that it ain't Harper, but potentially could be Demetrius.
Excuse me. That's right. That's true. I forgot about that. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So, um, Harper comes home from the MMA match, and
Merch.
he's trying to talk to, huh?
Oh, that's right, because Harper goes down to the match with Candace.
And so Harper goes home and he's trying to talk to Robin again, and Robin sounds like her mind is pretty made up. And then he gets another text message, and Robin is like, "Really, the phone again?" And he was like, "No, LJ is missing, and Lance wants everybody over at the house." So that's kind of where the episode ended. Did we miss? I feel like we were all over the place with this review, but because I don't have any notes, I'm just kind of all over the place. But did we miss anything major that you think?
I don't think so. Only thing I feel like we could we no, I think we covered everything, because I think at that point I think Quentin was probably trying to have a conversation with Harper about things at the match. But I think, everybody was so distracted by what was going on with merch that, we really didn't get too much substance from where that conversation was getting ready to go. I do feel like that Robin and Harper is headed for divorce court. Um, and I don't think it's a situation where they don't love each other. I think they just have grown apart, and they have two different agendas right now.
I just
And
think they have different priorities.
yeah, they have
Like
different
like they
priorities.
said when they were in therapy, Harper is looking to be that guy. He wants the superstar career. He wants to be a Pulitzer Prize winning writer. He has an opportunity for a sequel to a movie. Like, he wants all those things. And she would be, remember in the first episode, she wanted to live on the island cooking local food, farm to table. She would have been happy with that. Living in a modest house on whatever that island was where they remember she wanted to move to the island. So she's not interested in any of those things. She didn't want to move out of Harlem. She was fine with their brownstone in Harlem. She didn't want a bigger house in a better neighborhood. She didn't care about any of that. They have and nobody's wrong in that. They just have different values. And so the priorities are going to always conflict because they're not on the same page.
Yeah, so uh didn't um didn't Lance get a phone call about a body or something that they found? And he thought it
Yeah,
was
but he went
LJ?
down there and it wasn't LJ. I think it wasn't in his car was there, but he
Yes.
but he wasn't there. And they're going to keep investigating it. So it wasn't LJ, but LJ's still missing.
Yes.
And remember,
And
he
then
asked Quentin. He was like, "You sure he's not with Kennedy?" And he was like, "No, he's not with Kennedy."
and as far as Jordan and Harper, I'll take that back, because going back to the cheating thing, and they may not have fallen out of love. I mean, if they had not have gotten that phone call about Quentin, they were getting ready to go completely across the line. I mean, that kiss
Oh
wasn't
yeah.
going to just end there at a kiss. So I stand corrected on that. I do believe that they were going to be at a point where they were going to cross that line that they've been trying to cross so many times since he's been involved with Robin. So I take that back. So again, my predictions: Harper and Jordan, they're headed to divorce
That's
court.
interesting.
Yeah. We'll see. And remember, that was um that was actually where that conversation was getting ready to go before they got interrupted. The conversation was actually getting ready to go. Robin was asking, "Who were you with that night
Yep.
that Quentin had his heart attack? Like, who were you with?" Because if Quentin and Shelby were at the hospital, like who were you with? And they were saved by he was saved by the text because that was about to be ugly. Because
Yeah.
remember, he didn't come home till the sun came up.
He ain't come on till the sun came up. So if it hadn't been for what happened with Quentin, you're right. That was getting ready to be a big fight. All right, guys. That's going to wrap it up this week. We got one more episode and we're
One
done.
more.
But come on back. Come on back. Let's go ahead and get caught up on Bel Air. Let's go on get caught up on Bel Air. Come on back this week, because we're going to do our season 1 recap and what to expect for season 2. We're gonna probably try to get that joint out to you guys on maybe Wednesday. Hopefully, we can get this out to you on Wednesday. Y'all come on back. We got one more episode to do a best man. We're gonna try to go ahead and get that knocked out. Maybe the end of the part of this week. But we gotta get geared up for Bel Air. I'm ready. Are you excited?
I'm excited.
I'm excited.
Definitely excited to see how this is gonna go out with Bel Air. I am. I definitely am.
I am here for it. All right, guys. As always, we appreciate you guys coming and chilling with us. Y'all make sure y'all like, comment, and subscribe. And we'll see you guys later on this week.
All right. Peace.
Peace.